Welcome to Bills Nation Daily, your ultimate daily dose of everything Buffalo Bills. Hit that subscribe button and join the most passionate Bills fans as we break down all the latest news, highlights, and game analysis. Go Bills! The Buffalo Bills have stunned the entire NFL landscape with a move that nobody, absolutely nobody, could have predicted as the franchise officially announced the acquisition of German-born superstar wide receiver AMON-RA St. Brown from the Detroit Lions. The news sent shockwaves through league circles, fans, and media outlets because AMON-RA was not only one of the most productive and charismatic players in Detroit, but also a centerpiece of their offensive identity and a fan favorite whose energy resonated across every corner of Ford Field. For the Bills, this is not just a signing or a simple trade. This is a statement of intent, a bold declaration that they are tired of coming close, tired of heartbreak in January, and ready to reshape their offensive future in ways nobody could have foreseen. The idea of pairing Josh Allen, one of the league's most physically gifted quarterbacks, with St. Brown, a technician in route running and a relentless competitor, opens up an entirely new chapter for Buffalo's offense, which has been searching for consistent explosiveness beyond Stephon Diggs. It's the type of partnership that defensive coordinators across the AFC are already losing sleep over, and the ripple effects could define the next playoff race. Rumors have been swirling for weeks about Buffalo looking for a splash at the receiver position, but few insiders or analysts ever connected the dots to AMON-RA St. Brown, mainly because Detroit had been building a roster around young talent, stability, and a clear culture under head coach Dan Campbell. For many, St. Brown symbolized everything about the new Lions era: toughness, accountability, and swagger. He wasn't just another playmaker. He was the emotional pulse of their offense, the guy who moved the chains when the team needed grit, the player who fired up the sidelines with his fiery speeches, and the athlete who consistently delivered under pressure. The thought of the Lions parting ways with him seemed unthinkable, almost impossible, until Buffalo somehow worked behind the scenes to make it a reality. The secrecy of the deal, kept under wraps until the official announcement, only added to the drama, leaving fans on both sides of the deal in disbelief. Lions supporters are still processing the shock, while Bills Mafia is celebrating like they just won a playoff game, fully aware that they've just added one of the most complete receivers in the league to a roster that already had championship aspirations. From a football standpoint, the impact of this acquisition cannot be overstated, because St. Brown is not merely a deep threat or a flashy highlight machine. He is a complete wide receiver who brings precision, intelligence, and relentless effort to every snap. His ability to dissect coverages, find soft spots in zones, and create separation with sharp footwork is complemented by a competitive edge that refuses to accept anything less than excellence. For Josh Allen, who has often relied heavily on his improvisational skills and physicality to extend plays, having a target like St. Brown means an immediate upgrade in reliability and timing routes. It's not just about yards and touchdowns, it's about trust, rhythm, and the type of quarterback-receiver bond that can become the backbone of an entire offensive system. Imagine Allen rolling out of the pocket with defenders chasing, knowing he is Stephon Diggs stretching defenses vertically and St. Brown carving up the intermediate lanes. It is a nightmare scenario for defensive coordinators, forcing them to pick their poison, and it's precisely the kind of dynamic Buffalo has lacked in recent playoff disappointments. This move, in many ways, feels like a chess master stroke on the NFL board. But why would Detroit let go of their German superstar, a player who is not only ascending statistically, but also carrying the cultural torch of the franchise? That question remains the mystery fueling debates, podcasts, and talk shows across the country. Some insiders suggest financial maneuvering played a role, as Detroit prepares to lock in long-term deals for other cornerstones, particularly quarterback Jared Goff and defensive stars who are due for major extensions. Others speculate about behind-the-scenes disagreements, whispers of contract negotiations turning tense, and the possibility that St. Brown's growing market value outpaced what Detroit felt comfortable investing. Still, there's also the possibility that this was more about Buffalo making an irresistible offer, one that simply couldn't be turned down, whether it included draft capital, players, or a combination of both. Whatever the reason, the move will be analyzed endlessly. But one thing is certain. The Lions' identity just shifted, and the Bills' future just exploded with possibilities. It's the kind of twist that makes the NFL offseason feel almost like a blockbuster movie script, full of unexpected turns and dramatic reveals. What's fascinating about this development is the cultural dimension, because AMON-RA St. Brown isn't just another NFL player. He's one of the most high-profile German-American stars in the league, carrying both international appeal and a story that transcends football. His rise from being overlooked in the draft to becoming a Pro Bowl-caliber weapon has inspired countless young athletes, particularly those in Europe who see in him a pathway to greatness on the biggest stage. For Buffalo, adding St. Brown means expanding their reach beyond the American audience, tapping into international markets and fan bases that see him as more than just a wide receiver. He represents discipline, work ethic, and passion, qualities that resonate deeply in the Bills' culture and with the blue-collar spirit of Buffalo itself. The synergy feels natural, almost poetic, as if his relentless drive was always destined to align with a franchise that thrives on resilience, loyalty, and belief. This isn't just a roster move. It's a cultural collision that could elevate the Bills' profile not just in the standings, but in global popularity as well. And then there's the human element, the emotional side of this shockwave, because while the NFL is a business built on trades, contracts, and cap numbers, it is also about people, relationships, and loyalty. For Detroit fans, losing AMON-RA feels like losing a piece of their soul, a wound that won't heal quickly. Social media is already overflowing with heartfelt messages, disbelief, and even anger directed at the Lions' front office for allowing this to happen. For Buffalo fans, it's euphoria, a sense of destiny, and a rallying cry that could carry them all the way through the season. For AMON-RA himself, it's a fresh challenge, a new city, a new quarterback, and a new chapter in his journey, one that will demand resilience and adaptation, but also offer the opportunity to compete at the very highest level. The balance of emotions across the league is a reminder of why football isn't just about the scoreboard. It's about stories, characters, and the way they intertwine to create unforgettable moments. This is one of those moments, and its impact will be felt far beyond the turf. The ripple effects of AMON-RA St. Brown's shocking move to Buffalo are just beginning to unfold, and already the league is buzzing about how this could alter the entire balance of power in the AFC. The Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, and Baltimore Ravens have dominated the conversation as the main obstacles in Buffalo's path. But with St. Brown in the mix, the Bills suddenly look like a team that refuses to settle for runner-up status. The idea of Josh Allen finally having a second elite receiver, one who thrives in clutch situations, could be the missing ingredient that transforms their playoff narrative from heartbreak to triumph. Buffalo has been knocking on the door for years, with flashes of brilliance, but too often falling short when it mattered most. Now, the Bills can line up with Diggs and St. Brown as a 1-2 punch that rivals any duo in the league. It's an arms race in the AFC, and this move feels like Buffalo declaring that they are ready to go all in, ready to risk it all for a shot at football immortality. The weight of expectation just doubled, and fans are ready for the ride. What makes this twist even more fascinating is how it redefines Josh Allen's role as a leader and playmaker. Because for so long, his critics have claimed that he leans too heavily on his improvisation, his legs, and the sheer chaos he can create on broken plays. While those skills are electrifying, they've also led to turnovers and inconsistencies in crucial moments. With AMON-RA St. Brown on board, Allen now has a receiver who thrives on precision, timing, and execution, which forces him to elevate his game in a different way. This isn't just about a highlight connection. This is about developing an offensive chemistry that could rival the great tandems of NFL history, the kind of rhythm that makes defenses feel helpless no matter how well they prepare. For Buffalo, the opportunity here is not just to add firepower, but to bring structure, balance, and reliability to an offense that has often lived or died by Allen's ability to improvise. If he and St. Brown click the way many expect, the Bills could transform from a dangerous team to an unstoppable force. Meanwhile, Detroit finds itself in a whirlwind of soul-searching. Because while their rebuild has been praised for discipline and vision, losing St. Brown creates a void that goes beyond numbers. He was the emotional engine, the guy who embodied Dan Campbell's gritty philosophy, the face of their resurgence after years of mediocrity. For the Lions faithful, who had finally started to believe in a future filled with playoff dreams, this move feels like a gut punch. Replacing St. Brown is not simply a matter of drafting another receiver or signing a free agent. It's about filling a leadership role, a tone setter, a voice that demanded excellence in every practice and every game. The front office will be forced to explain the rationale behind letting such a cornerstone go. And no matter how much draft capital or salary flexibility they may have gained, the emotional damage to the fan base is undeniable. This could become a defining moment in Campbell's tenure, one that either proves the Lions are capable of navigating adversity with brilliance or exposes cracks in their long-term vision. Detroit's future suddenly feels less secure, and that uncertainty is fueling heated debates across the NFL landscape. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. For Buffalo's fan base, affectionately known as Bills Mafia, this moment has already taken on legendary proportions as celebrations erupt not just in New York, but across the country. Known for their passionate tailgates, their loyalty through decades of disappointment, and their unshakable bond with the team, Bills fans are treating this as if destiny itself has intervened. Social media is flooded with videos of fans jumping through tables in celebration, chants of Super Bowl echoing online, and artwork of Josh Allen and AMON-RA St. Brown side by side spreading like wildfire. For a community that has endured heartbreak after heartbreak, including 4 straight Super Bowl losses in the 90s and a series of playoff eliminations in the modern era, this feels like more than just a roster upgrade. It feels like fate is finally giving them a chance to rewrite history, to shake off decades of pain and step into the spotlight as champions. The bond between St. Brown and the Buffalo faithful is only beginning, but already there's a sense that this partnership could become iconic, etched into the identity of a franchise that has long been hungry for its crowning moment. On the field, the potential schematics are thrilling, because the addition of St. Brown allows offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey to unlock dimensions that were previously unavailable. With Diggs stretching the field vertically, St. Brown dominating the middle routes, and Dawson Knox providing red zone mismatches, the Bills now have a passing attack with multiple layers of danger. Add in James Cook's versatility as a running back who can line up as a receiver, and suddenly Buffalo's offense becomes unpredictable, flexible, and capable of morphing into whatever the situation demands. This is exactly what modern football requires: the ability to attack from every angle, to keep defenses guessing, and to create mismatches that even the best defensive minds struggle to solve. Imagine a 3rd and 7 late in the 4th quarter of a playoff game. Allen scanning the field with both Diggs and St. Brown running routes defenders can't cover simultaneously. That is the type of nightmare scenario opponents will be facing, and it is why this move is more than hype. It's a blueprint for domination. The chessboard has been reset, and Buffalo holds the advantage with its new, versatile arsenal. Yet, amid all the excitement, one lingering question remains. Can AMON-RA St. Brown carry the same intensity, passion, and emotional leadership into a new locker room, a new city, and new culture? Transitions are never easy, and even though Buffalo is a tight-knit community that embraces its players like family, the adjustment period could be crucial. Chemistry with Josh Allen will not happen overnight. Trust must be built, timing must be perfected, and a rhythm must develop through countless practices and battles. St. Brown's competitive nature suggests he will embrace the challenge, but until the lights shine in September, it remains a matter of speculation. For Detroit, watching him succeed elsewhere could be a bitter pill to swallow. But for Buffalo, the dream is alive, and the narrative has already shifted. This is no longer about a team trying to chase down its rivals. It's about a team that has declared, loudly and boldly, that it intends to be the rival everyone else fears. Whether this gamble becomes legendary or tragic will only be known in time. But for now, the NFL has a brand new storyline, and it's captivating every fan. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.